As you are aware, the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, in liaison with different ministries, departments and agencies, has continued to implement what we call Pillar 6 of the Parish Development Model, called the Parish Development Management Information System. And the objective of developing this system is that we are ensuring that we are improving accountability of government funds. We are improving transparency, efficiency, and effectiveness in service delivery through automation of all processes. And also, ultimately, we are aiming at having evidence-based planning and management of government resources. And we are doing this through the system that we are calling the Parish Development Management Information System. This system is hinged to supporting communities to improve their livelihoods through this model. And the aim of the system is that we are going out to the communities to register every household, get to know who is in this household, what do they do. When the fund for the parish development model is being given out, it's not given out to everyone, but there is a category of people who are supposed to get these funds. But we can only get to know these people if we determine who they are, what characterizes the kind of people who are eligible to this fund, and that is why we are collecting this information. This parish development management information system is we call it an integrated system. That is a system that talks to so many other systems, or is able to collect information from various places. It's an integrated system that seeks to support community profiling, that is registration of communities. What is in this community in terms of the people, in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the various resources that they have. Infrastructure like schools, roads, hospitals, name it, or water bodies that a community or a parish has. We are documenting all this information, storing it, and are going to be able to disseminate it at various levels of decision making in this country. The parish development management system is part, like I told you, it belongs to Pillar 6. The parish development model has 7 pillars. And I think over the period we have got to know what is in Pillar 1. Pillar 1 is to do with agriculture, production, marketing. Then we have a pillar on infrastructure. We have a pillar on services. We have a pillar on governance. Then we have this pillar on developing the system. We also have a pillar on community mobilization and mindset change. So the system we are developing to date has covered three components. The first component is registration, that helps us to do data collection, and another component is called the financial inclusion or financial information system. We also have a component for monitoring and evaluation, and another component called the citizen participation module. Now, the registration or data collection module and financial inclusion module is supposed to help us in registering every household in the communities or in the parishes. And then the other module of financial inclusion is supposed to manage the parish revolving fund, which is the fund that is going to be given out to the different circles that have been registered in the various parishes. So you find that as we are registering households, we also register the circles that constitutes the teams of people that are going to be able to get this fund. The benefit of all this is to ensure that there is minimal borrowing, and as such, the funds reach the intended beneficiaries. Because we keep on tracking who is getting the money, who is improving, the performance of this fund in terms of profitability and so on and so forth. Then the monitoring and evaluation module is intended to support the improvement of governance and administration. This monitoring and evaluation measures the performance of the fund and also performance of how good we are doing in terms of data collection. So, for example, to date, 52.3% of all the intended households to be registered have been registered. I think there are about 9 million households we expect to register, but we have registered to date, I think, 4 million plus. And in terms of the total population, we have so far registered 18.2 million people and know where they stay, where they are, in what districts, what sub-counties up to parish level, because we have moved from one house to the other in the areas where this registration has been done. So by a click of a button, you're able to know how many people have been registered, where do they belong, how many have got funding using this system, and in what in what areas do they stay, which funding is still pending for those that have applied, and so on and so forth. So that is the monitoring and evaluation module. Then the citizen participation module. This one is a real-time, it's a module that is aimed at interfacing, being the interface between government and the citizen. Many times, of course, media is here today hearing from me, and then it will send out the information through the various media platforms to our citizens or to our Ugandans. But on this system, we have a provision for a portal that will be able to provide real-time information for the citizens and feedback. Information in terms of, for example, we know that the current trending story now is that Masaka has been cut off because Katonga River is overflowing. So similarly, we might have incidences where we have potholes in certain areas, or a facility is broken down, one of the facilities, a hospital has a problem, and so on and so forth. So through this portal, citizens will be able to upload images or to ask questions. And since we are dealing with the parish development model and supporting the various communities basing on agriculture, there will be so many questions that are coming up. And therefore, as a government, we have to be proactive in giving back feedback to the citizens. So that is what this portal is aimed at. To date, the status of the data collected, I have given you an overview that we have collected so far, registered 52.3% of all the households. However, some districts are still collecting data, and this exercise will continue or is ongoing until we'll get all the households in this country registered. I know maybe the next question will be, why aren't you completing, or when are you expected to complete registration? This registration is, of course, heavily dependent on funding. As and when we get the resources, we go ahead to do the registration. The reason why we have trained the trainers today that we are flagging off to go and train people in local governments to be able to use the system is that we want the parish chiefs and people up to local district level to be able to manage these systems. We are not going to go as Ministry of Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. We are not going to go to these parishes and make them our homes to collect the data or update the system. But the parish chiefs or people in these communities are going to do that for themselves. What does this mean? That we are building the digital capacity of people in these communities to be able to also understand what the system does, and even in the future they will be able to give us feedback on how to improve this system, or even develop various programs for their communities. So we have successfully concluded training of 181 trainers of trainers on the financial inclusion system or module. and these officers shall be attached to all local governments across the country. The aim, like I have told you, is to build the capacity of the local governments and support the rollout of the financial inclusion system. And this exercise is going to start next week on Monday, 22nd of May 2023. I conclude my remarks by saying that we take this opportunity on behalf of the Ministry of ICT. I take this opportunity to congratulate these officers and wish them success in training and building capacity within the local governments so as to ensure that the uptake and usage of the financial inclusion system is very fast and accelerated. I would also like to urge local government officials to continue cooperating with us to carry out this exercise successfully, because if they are not empowered, then the process of feeding information into this system by registering the various households will be constrained or difficult. So the trainers that we have today, the 181 trainers, we wish you all the best in the field. On behalf of the PDM Secretariat that is coordinating the whole Parish Development Model Program, I wish you all the best for God and my country. Concerns that people have, sometimes the concerns are user-related or they can be system-related. Sometimes if a user is not as proficient in using a system, sometimes they could say that it is not working. But yes, this is, and I cannot say that probably the system at one point might not have worked. I think some time back there was a time we had a system upgrade on some of the functionalities, because this is, a system that has been first of all developed by our own Ugandans. It's not a system that we have, imported from abroad. It has been developed by our own Ugandans and innovators. So, because we are supporting the, we are supporting the Buy Uganda to build Uganda. So we know that we have a number of youths out there who are innovative and have, we know our problems better and have, supported us in developing this system. The issue of not working is the reason why we have these trainers going out to the field to train the different people at local governments on how to use the system best, so that we no longer have issues of complaining the system doesn't work, or certain issues are arising. Initially when we were training, when we were doing the data collection, because it started this process started last year, I think last financial year. Remember, there was a launch of the parish development model in Bukedi district. That is where the whole household registration started at that time. So the technical teams here went and physically supported people in the fields, in the local governments and districts to do the data collection. And you know that if you don't consistently use a system, sometimes you don't learn how to use it. But with the capacity that we are building, that is the guarantee we are giving, that the trainers we are flagging off today are the ones going to train these people to use this system better. Through the various platforms we have created, if any issue comes in, they are given, they are given solutions to the challenges they are facing real time. Where the households we have registered, we have the registration process has been ongoing. Like I told you, this process is informed by availability of funds. Yes, because you're in Kampala, you might not have seen Kampala registered, because I think Wachiso district and Kampala have largely not been registered. However, when you go to areas like Bukedi, Ibanda, Kabale, Kayunga, so many places have been registered. We have the records and statistics. I don't have it off head, but registration has been done upcountry. And I think now we are moving to a phase where we are creating, kind of model districts. We have districts that have smaller populations. We want to ensure that all those are registered, all the households in those districts are registered, and everything is done end-to-end on the system. Then in the areas where we have not yet got funding to support this activity, we are encouraging, through Ministry of Local Government, we are encouraging local governments to put aside funds to support this exercise, because as a Ministry of ICT, we might not be able to afford that fund at a go. But we are working together with the different local governments to support us in this exercise. Then, how much has the government invested in this system? The system is still is not yet complete. Like I told you, it is we are building different models to support the various pillars of the parish development model. So for what we have developed so far, yes, there is funding, continuous funding to that we have invested. I cannot say the figure off air because we have not yet concluded. I will say this amount X, and then the developer will say, but I have got less. Because we are funding or paying off every deliverable that has been done. When we are developing systems, there are certain requirements for a system to be in place, and then we say, when you tick off this box, you're paid. So it is a continuous process. When we are done, we'll be able to give the holistic investment into this system development that government has put in. Development is one thing, and then the rollout, the data collection, is another process. So when we do develop this system, the Ministry of ICT is wholly responsible for, together with the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, we are working together as a pillar to develop this system. When it is done, we go now to do the registration of the different households. It requires that you give people transport, you give them fuel, you give them lunch, all these things. So the entire exercise, of course, has been planned and budgeted for the subsequent financial years within the government budget for us to be able to assess how much each local government will invest in this exercise. So in the financial records, the various local governments know how much they should be able to plan for. Because if a district is small, like maybe Karamoja district cannot be compared to Wachiso district, they have different amounts of money based on the households we expect to target to register in those areas. Online and offline. When we get to areas where we do not have connectivity, registration is done, and as soon as you get connected, the data is uploaded directly to our database. So yes, the system can work, and it can work on mobile phones. You don't have to have a laptop only. Even mobile phones can work. The application is installed on your phone, and then you go out and do the data collection. So the reconciliation is done as soon as that connectivity to the internet is good. Now that would have to take me back to the background of this project. This project is not aimed at just doing registration of Ugandans, because I know people will say we already have national IDs. A national ID picks all your information as a citizen of this country, and you're registered as a citizen. But for this particular registration that we are doing, from house to house in the different communities, is that we are building a profile for a community. We are getting to know what is in Parish X, or what is in Parish X in terms of how many people are there, how many schools are there, what is the infrastructure like in terms of the roads, which hospitals are there, etc. And then among these people, who are those people in the subsistence economy that are eligible to getting the parish, the revolving fund that is planned to be given to people within the subsistence economy. If we don't do this registration, we cannot have information to inform the decision to distribute that kind of money. So that is why we are doing this registration. And we are not saying, no, we are only registering those in the subsistence economy. No, we are registering everybody. Because at the end of the day, we'll be able to know how many are in subsistence, how many are not, how do we plan for those in subsistence, who has grown from subsistence to the upper level, and so on and so forth. Because people are not going to remain in the subsistence economy for life. So we can only do that if we have information to support the decisions and planning that we are making.